Tippelskirch. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Can I just check, are we scheduled to have a break shortly, or I thought we were going to have an afternoon break?
Yes, we've got 3 more.
Okay, cool.
Hello.
Yeah.
Manfred from Tippelskirch, you pronounced it almost perfectly.
Oh.
Very well. It's unusual. Today I just want to speak mainly about the asset sales. And I fear I'll be a bit of a spoil sport here, but I really do vehemently oppose the sale of Christchurch assets. And I think this council has been partly elected on the promise that assets wouldn't be sold. And I find it disappointing that this was still put on the agenda. I can see the pressure you are under, but I think, and I'm sure you did actually explore a lot of possibilities in terms of keeping the assets, but I think there are ways of maybe getting around selling assets. Generally, I think it's better to keep key services like water, energy, public transport. While I acknowledge that the assets which are up for sale are not necessarily essential services, but some of them are. I think key services can't be run profitably and provide environmental, sustainable and fair social outcomes at the same time. So they should be really kept in public hand. Other assets like Littleton Port and Christchurch International Airport are important continuous revenue sources, and it would be ludicrous to give them away for short-term gain. And I think the government has got a lot to answer for why the City Council is under such pressure. We shouldn't forget, though, that Christchurch is still feeling the effects in the aftermath of major catastrophes. And even though I understand that we need to get back to a sense of normality, I think normality can't be bought with flash projects like those anchor projects. I think it's much more important that we do really the essential things like getting the horizontal infrastructure repaired as soon as possible. So I think there are other ways of saving monies, and here are some suggestions I thought about. For a start, abandon the stadium and the convention centre. Since the government has not honoured its original contribution towards the horizontal infrastructure, I don't think the Christchurch City Council is obliged to honour the anchor projects.
That's an assumption, I'm afraid.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm sorry, but carry on.
Yeah. Well, this is what I picked out from the media, that the government didn't honour the original contribution to the horizontal infrastructure. Is that wrong?
I know the media has said that, but it isn't necessarily, they're not necessarily reporting the outcome of any consideration of the final figures. They're reporting what other people are saying. So we haven't got to the end point of that yet.
So the media have to answer.
No, it's not their fault. They're reporting what people are saying, and you're picking up what other people are saying. We haven't got to a final point on that yet.
Okay, that's good to hear. I think the government should actually contribute because it is a massive civil disaster we have experienced here. Going back to the stadium anchor project, Dunedin is already struggling with its stadium, and they are working hard to keep it open. Why would we consider a money hole like this in Christchurch and add to Dunedin's misery on top of it by competing with Dunedin? I don't quite understand that. As to the convention center, I really do see the need for conference capability, but I think maybe there's other ways of working towards having capability. For example, by working with the universities, they have got fantastic facilities which are often not even used, and it would help the universities who are financially struggling and would avoid the need for a convention center. Also, I would suggest, maybe I'm wrong there again, but the insurers haven't paid out yet, and I think that would be one way of getting revenue, pressing the insurances to pay up, including the interest that has accrued since the earthquakes. Victoria Square, it's very controversial here, and I absolutely think it's not necessary and not wanted, and the money could be saved there. The memorial wall, don't get me wrong, I think art is important, but the memorial wall is expensive, pompous, and inappropriate. And I think the sealed riverbank of the Avon and the wall will only contribute to flood risk as other hard surfaces along the waterways. Also, a wall as a symbol of for the deaths that occurred through the earthquakes, I don't think it's really appropriate, because weren't also walls involved crushing people during the earthquakes? Why not have a living memorial, like on the line of Otokaikino? Plant a caricature tree for every person that died during the earthquake. Also, there are plans to erect other structures along the rivers of Christchurch, and I think, again, hard surfaces are not suitable for a flood-prone city. And why have those structures which cost a lot of money if nature is the best playground, is the best place for people to relax and enjoy? I used to live near rivers in Europe, and the tracks along the rivers were hard surfaced with crushed metal, which is still porous, as opposed to concrete or tar seal. Also, understand the building of the Margaret Mahi playground is already underway, but I think that was also a lost opportunity. I don't quite get why it has to cost so much money.
Manfred, you are going through the different anchor projects that are part of the agreement with the Crown, but we've set aside 5 minutes for the submission, so there's just no time now for questions. So if you'd just like to kind of wrap up with one sentence, a message that you want to leave with the council.
My message is to think of the essentials and not of flash projects which don't actually really address the burning issues.
That's great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much. The Christchurch Arts Audience Development Project